Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. His birth, youth, and prophethood. The last prophet of Allah, Muhammad Mustafa, peace be upon him, belonged to the Hashimi branch of the Quraysh tribe, which was settled in Mecca. His father was Abdullah, son of Abdul Muttalib, and his mother was Amina, daughter of Wahb. When Abdullah reached marriageable age, he married Amina, a woman from the Zura branch of the Quraysh. As was the custom at the time, the groom stayed in his bride's house for 3 days before moving with his wife to his father, Abdul Muttalib's house. A few months after the marriage, Abdullah was compelled to join a caravan heading towards Damascus as he needed to trade to provide for his family. As he said goodbye to his wife, he didn't know he would never see her again. However, the love for a child his pregnant wife would give him as a gift stirred within him. Abdullah, dreaming of the day he would become a father, left Mecca. After a month-long arduous journey, he reached Damascus, visited the markets, made purchases, and returned with his companions. A disease that struck him on the way severely affected Abdullah. Upon arriving in Medina, he realized he could no longer continue and sought refuge with his uncles, the Banu Najjar. The caravan that arrived in Mecca informed Abdul Muttalib of the situation. Abdullah's elder brother Harith was immediately dispatched. However, Harith was only able to visit a grave in the garden of the Prophet's house, not his beloved brother's grave. Thus, Amina became a widow after only a few months of marriage. The Elephant Incident. The Kaaba, a sacred building built by Prophet Abraham and visited annually during the month of Dhul Hijjah, has been highly valued by the Arabs for centuries. Unable to accept this, the governor of Yemen, Pbuh, gathered a large army and set out to destroy the Kaaba. However, about 2 to 3 kilometers from Mecca, at a place called Muamz, they were attacked by flocks of birds called ababil, and the tiny stones they dropped destroyed and devastated the army. This army, destroyed because of a large elephant at the front, was called the People of the Elephant, and that year became known among people as the Year of the Elephant. His birth. As a divine blessing, Amina, who felt no discomfort during pregnancy, became the mother of the greatest of prophets on Monday, the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal, 55 days after the elephant incident, at dawn. The Gregorian calendar showed April 20th, 571. Amina had received a command in a dream to name her child Muhammad. Furthermore, this name seemed to be imprinted on the heart of Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib gave a feast for his friends. They asked him the name. He told them. They asked, "Why did you give him this name?" "I wanted him to be praised by people on earth and angels in heaven," he said. He was given to a wet nurse. When he was born, his mother nursed him. For a few days, he drank the milk of Suwayba, the concubine of his uncle Abu Lahab. Later, a woman named Halima, from the tribe of Sa'd bin Bekr, who came to Mecca as a wet nurse, took the beloved Muhammad because she had no other children left to take. She said that because he was an orphan, the fee would be low. Halima encountered a radiant-faced baby. She took him and nursed him. When she wanted to offer the other breast, his lips closed. From then on, this baby would never take the second breast. He would be left to Halima's son, Abdullah. This beloved baby, who would one day demonstrate the meaning of equality and justice to people through his life, was certainly under divine control. The same power that controlled Moses, who once rejected all the wet nurses brought to Pharaoh's palace, now controlled Muhammad, not allowing him to suckle from the second breast. Halima was pleased and astonished, because until she set foot in this house, she hadn't had enough milk in her breasts to feed a child. Her son Abdullah hadn't slept well because he hadn't been able to drink enough milk. But now, she had enough milk to easily feed both this child and her own son. Her donkey, which had been unruly on the way, was now running at a brisk pace, and milk was dripping from her camel's udders. From now on, for the next 4 years, the sheep and camels that went out to graze would give plenty of milk. Her neighbors would watch this in amazement.
They would even say to their shepherds, "You too." They would go out and say, "Graze these animals in the places where Halima's animals graze." Apparently, the Almighty was paying the price for the milk his beloved messenger had suckled in advance. Because when this little child later bore the heaviest burden humanity had ever known, he would command that the workers' wages be paid before his sweat dried. If the Almighty had sprinkled a few drops from his inexhaustible treasures of mercy on this family for a prophet whose existence was a mercy to the worlds, this
should not be considered strange. When the beloved Muhammad, who stayed with his wet nurse for 2 years, was brought back to his mother, he had developed into a robust child as if he were 4 years old. Amina felt the joy of seeing her child. However, thinking of keeping her son away from the plague that was ravaging Mecca, she asked them to take him back. Returning to the land of Saad bin Bekr, the beloved stayed there for another 2 years with his foster siblings Shema and Abdullah. One day, when little Abdullah cried out, "Catch my brother from the Quraysh!" Halima and her husband Haris rushed to him, waiting for him with pale faces. They found him. He recounted how 2 men in white robes had come and laid him down, opened his chest, pulled something out and threw it away, saying, "This is the devil's share." The Halima family couldn't comprehend the significance and meaning of this divine operation, known in Islamic culture as Shaqq al-Sadr, or the splitting of the chest. Worried that unseen forces might harm the child, they set off without delay. They returned the precious orphan, the blessing of their home, to his mother. Amina was overjoyed to be reunited with her smiling child. Abdul Muttalib, meanwhile, was bound to Abdullah's care with a love he hadn't felt for any of his children or grandchildren.